Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Life on the Edge. I'm Matt, and with me is Chief Instigator Chad Willett. Today, we thought we would take you through a little tour of our new space. We've been recording these. You see it's under construction. So here we are.
Hi.
How you doing since we last talked? So why do we have a new space other than the fact the old space?
We got kicked out of our old space because we got a liquor license.
Evicted.
Yeah, we got evicted very quickly.
Yeah.
The asshole who owned that building said, "Get out."
That guy. Yeah. So this has been going on now since December. When did we move out? No, August of.
We moved out of the space on Lincoln Way and Bent in August of 2022, and we've been living in our closet over there since then.
So why don't you tell us about where we're standing?
We are actually in 8,000 square feet portion of a 45,000 square foot building that we had purchased in 2020. In 2022, we sold a portion of the building to MHP, which is doing a 25,000 square foot renovation to move their corporate offices in. This space has been a little bit of the red-headed stepchild, the bastard son, in the sense of priorities. As we were building out the rail spur in 2022, we really took our focus on this space in 2023 and really didn't even start until summer of 2023. We actually received our permits in October. And so legally, we've only been at this for a couple months.
Right. Because we wouldn't start before the permits.
No. Well, let me expand on the kind of bastard stepson. This building, 100 years old. It was built in 1922. When we bought the building, we had a nice little stamp of approval that our structure was sound. And when MHP purchased theirs, they had a stamp of approval that this structure was great. Through the process, realized that the structure is not so great. So we actually had to spend a good 6 months to 8 months redoing a large portion of the structure in the building. You'll see all of these metal beams and new roofing structure that we had to so conveniently add in the beginning of the project before we could work on our renovation.
Yeah. And it was a challenge, definitely, just going through and the adventures of finding out all the things that you find out about working on a 100-year-old building. So, And speaking of which, so the floor is elevated, what, about 4 feet, 3 feet?
Yep. So this current space that we're in sits about 3.5 feet higher than 15th Street. This building actually used to have rail cars that pulled up to the dock. We've got some cool pictures from the 1940s where it had a covered deck out front and rail cars actually unloading into the warehouse space. The building was originally built to become a door and sash company, really a screen door company. They did a lot of woodwork and milling out of here. So through the years, it's been everything from the milling, woodworking to plumbing supply and wholesale, electrical supply and wholesale is always really utilized as some type of storage and or warehousing space.
Yeah. Yep. So lots of wood in here, lots of brick. What's been kind of your design philosophy? Because you're the chief architect of all this.
Instigator,
whatever. Chief.
I'm not an architect. We've got an architect to be our architect. I've got a vision.
Yes, you're the chief visionary, I guess would be better. So what was your vision in building this?
Yeah. So for me, it's bring back the uniqueness of the period in when it was built. Being a wholesale supply for so long, a warehouse for so long. I mean, this place was full of shelves. All the way down the whole place was just racks and racks of shelving. All of the wood was old and nasty and doesn't look like it had ever been cleaned. It was really pretty raw and run down. So what we did is we just brought it back to life. We've sandblasted all the brick walls. We've sandblasted all of the wood throughout the whole space. We've added in the new structure. And then from there, we're just minimally adding what we call minimum viable product or code minimum to be able to operate out of, because we want to be able to really utilize the old with the new, and keep it pretty raw and kind of going with the philosophy of use what you have. That's really what this space has been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This bar top, or this
The break
break
area
area top,
Right.
is actually portions of the floor that we cut out from the back area of the warehouse, which you'll see for a conversation pit. So the front is actually the underside of it. So we have a lot of reuse of materials within the space.
Yeah, that's something that as I've gotten to know you over the last couple of years, I've been impressed with your ability to reuse things.
Scrapper, the
Scra-
scrapper in me, the salvage guy.
Yeah, that's really
yeah.
cool. Well, that's so. What's the timeline looking at? What do you think?
So exciting. We passed all of our in-wall inspections today, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, framing. So we've been given the green light by the city of Cheyenne to go ahead and close everything in. So next week we will be moving into drywall phase to go ahead and cover it all in. Then finishing up all of the exposed lighting and lights and all of that. We're hoping to be, stamped and final probably early March.
Yeah.
Check back in early March and see what we've had. But there's really not a lot to complete here. We're going to go ahead and overlay all the floors. We're going to go ahead and close everything in, tighten it up, bring in our high tech stuff, and you'll see kind of the cool, unique spaces that we bring in. We've moved from 5,000 square feet over across the street to 8,000 square feet, all on the same level. Still 20 employees, so we are right at the level of having too much space for our current, but it really helps drive what's the future and what's the growth of the space.
So tell me about how you envision this space dovetailing with the core values of the company.
Yeah, so one of our core values is really to ignite creativity in creative spaces, spark inspiration through creative spaces. And this being the third space that West Edge has occupied, it will be by far the coolest space. Excuse me. We don't think that there's another space like this in the region for a creative firm. The old warehouse with the high-tech studio, editing suites, pieces that come along with it, as well as, some unique traits like, skateboard friendly and, swings and, all the cool stuff that us creative nerds want.
All right. So shortly after filming that last segment, our guest went on vacation to the Dominican Republic. So
that's fantastic.
It is.
I mean, good for them. They deserve it.
They do. Plus, it was all framing and stuff. And here, a few days later, we've got a lot of drywall up. So I felt like this would be a better time to kind of walk through this space. So here we are. Where are we, Jesse?
Awesome. And speaking of that, I'm standing Chad, taking over what he did when he went to the Dominican Republic. So I'm Jesse. But where we are is kind of in the middle of the heart of all of the new space. So we've been working on the new space for a while. You mentioned drywall. A lot of this stuff has been happening right here. So what we're seeing here is kind of some of our primary meeting space. So we have two of these. These are going to be really kind of where our internal teams meet. They go through strategy and putting together a lot of those things. Yes. We're going to have whiteboards again, which is exciting.
This entire wall is going to be all whiteboard,
which I'm super excited about because I really like to draw on whiteboards.
I'm just wondering who's going to be drawing on the whiteboard, in that bottom 12 inches. But I'm sure someone will find.
That's where trees start. They start from the ground. You have to get all the way from the bottom to the top to make them work. The rest of it, though, we're going to have really nice, large TVs against that wall.
The Google Meet,
with the Google Meet, so we'll have
stuff.
Really awesome connectivity. And for anybody that's had meetings with us over the last couple of years, we've done the whole OWL ecosystem where the camera bounces around. I think these are going to be really good. We've been kind of beta testing them in our existing space over there. So
yeah. I think the only person who doesn't like it is Michelle because she can't hide
Michelle
behind her
hides
coffee.
her face behind her water bottle.
Behind her water bottle anymore. So.
But it's going to be really nice to have some kind of semi-private spaces to be able to have those conversations, especially with clients. The rest of the team won't be as impacted by it. So really looking forward to having some stable, dedicated spaces for what we're doing. But then from there, you can kind of see, we'll go back this way. We've got some other areas that we're going to show you.
Let's head on back.
All right, cool.
All right, Jesse. So here we are. Tell us about the pit.
Yeah, the pit, right? So the pit and this whole platform system over here is really cool. Like, I think this area is going to be one of my favorites. So you actually get the
And
opportunity.
your kids'
to kinda-
favorites too, I'm
and-
sure.
well, sure. Yeah, theirs is the candy drawer. Actually, is their favorite. But to be able to jump up and climb on things to me is like a comfort thing. I don't know why. Like having the old building with all of the verticality and climbing on stuff was great. So I know that Chad kind of put some of this in because he's got some similar tendencies. But be able to have some meeting space here that's a little more dynamic, to get on these benches, to sit, to get power. And then this came out of nowhere. Just
Oh,
there's
no. This came out of a meeting we had about the new space.
There's a
and
hole in the ground.
And Chad said, it was me and Michelle, and I think it was just the three of us. And he said, I got an idea, guys. What do you think? And he brought us over here and said, I want to cut out this whole floor because it's only 4 feet down, and then we could have a big conversation pit. And so,
yeah.
it's his building. If he wants to cut holes in the floor, it's awesome. But it turned out to be
It's
a
gonna be-
fantastic decision because now we've got, it's about 4 feet down, a nice concrete base, a place to sit,
Bench all the way around.
bench all the way around. We're going to have a, 6 by 10 foot LED wall
Yep.
over against this wall.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. And we've got the light coming from the north here, which is really neat. But to be able to get from, 3 feet up to 4 feet down in the same space is going to be really cool. And I think swings, I heard swings maybe hanging from this
I've
beam.
heard that too. I'm not sure if that's happening, but we'll see. One thing you can really see here is all the stuff we had to purchase.
the mountain of boxes.
Yeah, the mountain of boxes. It's been a real juggling act trying to get all the stuff that I've purchased and Michelle's purchased and some of the other folks. These big items
Well, on Black Friday, I mean, you got to take advantage, right?
that we did, and we it was really good. We saved a lot of money, so that worked
Yeah.
out well. But yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
And some of the stuff back here that you can also see is a little bit another meeting space here in the middle. These quasi meeting office spaces will be open to the front for now. We may close them in eventually, but honestly, the light is so good back here, and there's a sunlight or a skylight just
Skylight,
around
yeah.
the corner. So this is a lot brighter than we initially kind of thought this big long building would be. So,
Yeah. And what's really
stuff.
cool is we've got a lot of space to the ceilings here too. Before this frame right here is there's a second floor above us, and that's where MHP and the MH people all work.
Right.
So this though is all just open to the actual roof. So,
Single story on this one, so we get a little more verticality, which is really cool, which I think plays really well with the playground feature and the conversation pit. I'm looking forward to it.
the playground feature.
Playground feature. And through this wall, we have studio, correct?
Yeah, let's go take a look.
All right, we're going to check it out.
All right, so here is the studio. I'm really excited about this space.
I bet you are.
I am.
Yeah.
So the first thing you notice in here is we decided to go with an actual truss. In the previous building, we had some kind of like photography thing, which is great for camera flashes and lights and stuff, but with the weight of the stuff that we're going to be hanging here, which includes an LED wall for virtual productions, we needed something a lot more robust. So we went with this truss system. It's the first time I've ever worked with it. I know Byron, who's one of our software developers, he has worked with it before, and he said this stuff is fantastic. So his former life, he was a roadie, so he's done tons and tons of truss. I was really impressed with how well this stuff just kind of clenched together once you put the pins in and got all, and it really solidified to the point where people who can do pull-ups are doing pull-ups off of this. I'm not one of those.
So in here, we came in from this side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, we're not going to be shooting towards the door with this pillar in here, but we're going to be basically taking and shooting towards the rest of the room
Yes.
this way. So we'll have some really nice backdrops and
Oh, yeah.
flexibility to be able to get wider shots.
Yeah, and we're not going with a cyclorama wall like we had in the previous one. We're going to try without for a little while and kind of see how that works out for us. And if it's a thing that we can work with, then that just gives us that much more space, because those curved walls, you remember, had the curved
yeah.
walls and the curved corners. That takes up 3 feet of the space. So that's why we wanted to go with just something for now, for something different, and try it out. But we're really excited about having this space. There have been so many times in the last, year and a half where we've been like, oh gosh, where are we going to film this? We need a location. And
Yeah, no, I can think of a lot of opportunities in here for sure.
Yeah.
And for orientation, we were just out on the other side of
Right.
this. We know that little podium jungle gym
Jungle
thing is
gym.
right there. So noise infiltration will be off limits whenever you guys are shooting. So totally
we are
understood.
going to sound condition this room.
Right.
We have about a little more than half a dozen giant sound absorber blankets that are going to go along this wall over here and then along this column of truss. And this will be kind of an admin area over here where we have all our charging and where we're running up the electric bill.
So in the olden days, you used to edit in the studio.
I did.
Right?
I did. I had my little desk.
We're not doing that anymore, right?
We are not.
Yeah.
I've got something to show you over here. Let's go check this out. All right. So this is the editing suite / client review suite. I have multi-purpose room. It's my jungle gym. So what we're seeing in here is this room is going to be sound conditioned for one. So this will be the quietest space in the building easily. Plus we'll have a large desk in the back on the top tier where we'll have all of our editing stuff, our reference monitors, and all the things that Ben and I need to do our work. And then on each of these tiers is going to be theater seating, and on this wall will be a very, very, very large calibrated monitor. So super excited.
Yeah, it's going to be super cool. I think that this is going to be one of the, when people walk in, they'll be like, oh,
yeah.
shit, wow, this is
Yes.
amazing. So yeah, insulation in the walls is, and obviously if we hadn't said this yet, this is under construction at this point.
In case you couldn't tell.
We've had some awesome partners that have came in and helped a lot. So we have excellent sound insulation here. We're going to have a nice theater system in here for audio, good lighting that'll be up and down. But yeah, this is going to be a really special piece for everything. I know that you guys will be happy to not be editing out in the middle of the riffraff out there with the bright lights and that hurt your eyes. So
Yeah,
I'm excited.
We'll keep it dark and moody in here. But what's really important is, we go back to our core values, delivering that first-class client experience when they have just spent a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort doing something like, the stroke video or the hard video or any of the other productions that we have like in the hopper now. When you bring them in here and we treat them to a first-class experience, I think that's going to be just fantastic.
Make it memorable, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's super cool.
And that was really foremost in my mind when I was working with Chad and Ben to design this space. You had a pretty heavy hand in how we're going to do the sound in here. So why don't you tell me about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've done similar projects in my own home, and I like to go down research rabbit holes when I'm doing things like this. So I was able to apply a lot of what I did, but also knowing we've got somewhat limited space that we have to move people in and out. I mean, the major walkway is through here. So trying to make sure that the audio equipment for this room is unobtrusive, because we don't want to make it gaudy with, massive things. But it should definitely pump out some great sound and be very comfortable.
And we're going for 4 in-wall speaker or 5 including
There's going to
the-
be 4 in-wall speaker, 5
5,
in-wall
yeah.
speakers, center channel, left, right, and rear presence. And then our left and right will be larger because you guys mainly master in stereo. But you do have the potential to be able to do a 5.1 sound stage or a 7.1 sound stage or whatever you want to do in the future. But I guess if we want to roll some Hollywood cinema in here, we can also do that as well. So we have opportunities, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. In fact, I started researching it, how I master in 7.2 surround in Resolve and stuff. So
We don't have any Atmos in the ceiling though, so
No,
keep that off limits
yeah,
for now.
and it's not, and I've been to an Atmos mastering certified theater down in Denver. And it's such a huge leap to go from what we're doing, which is fantastic for the level of work, to Hollywood quality. Then you're talking about dedicated facilities that are tuned monthly by the actual engineers and stuff. And so very impressive facility down there, but it wasn't something that really fit into our current, how we operate. So
Absolutely.
what else?
So one of the dimmest rooms in the building, right? And we got a couple light ones to show next.
Yes, definitely. Let's head over and take a look at those.
Sounds good. Let's get some more light. I was
so
gonna
good.
say, all right.
Yeah.
All right, so lights, right? This is new. Well, it's new and old, right? So this is the space that we've been working in for some of our clients out there that have been in and out of here,
Yep.
and employees. Obviously, this is where we've been spending a lot of time. A year and a half we've been in here, and before that, when we started the signage project and program, this was the entire space just dedicated to that. Well, since the rail spur and all of that happened, we've kind of moved into this narrow, skinnier piece. But you can see it's lit up. These are the final lights that are going to light
these are really
all of
nice.
our space. They're super cool. Right now we've got the white drywall up above this section because it is where we were before. I think this will probably end up a darker color, and these lights are really. It's going to be just really gorgeous. And then this wall will stay. Obviously, there's more drywall to be done. They're working on now. And then beyond that, that room will probably be the brightest in the building. That's where Al does a lot of his printing, large format printing on
Also
the
the
vinyl.
most humid because of the
Correct.
humidity required for the printer.
Yeah, the printers are like, oh, you don't live on the equator? You need more than 7% humidity?
These were not intended for use in
No,
Cheyenne.
in Wyoming,
sorry.
but all very much temperature and humidity controlled and light controlled. So Al can do his press checks on all of the work that he's doing.
We're actually giving Al a couple of our old production
Mm-hmm.
lights since we've gone to these ones that can do like all the colors.
Mm-hmm.
We had some that were like perfect calibrated for daylight, which is exactly what he needed. And he was struggling to find the product. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really serendipitous. So we were able to just hand him some of our stuff that we weren't using anymore.
And the opposite of daylight, right? Because this room, if you had all the lights off, is in the center of the building. It'd be the toughest room to pipe daylight into. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, good solutions to be able to make sure that we're accurate on all of our printing. And he gets to do what he does out there. And then the rest of this space is open.
Yep.
Editing suite right there. And then this is all going to kind of be where the magic and creativity happens, where we can be collaborative and all those type things.
Yeah.
Those meeting rooms, as we talked about earlier, directly across. And we're going to go over and talk a little bit about our meeting
Break area. It is
break
the break
area.
area.
Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. But I'm excited. It's really cool to see some of the hardware come into play and just know how this is all going to change.
Hey, you know,
But
before we head
it's
over to the
feeling
break
real.
area,
Yeah.
why don't we show people the lobby so that way they can kind of
Oh, yeah.
orient
No,
themselves to how
absolutely.
we're going to see when they come in
That's
the building.
next. Let's go there.
Yeah. All right, so coming on here, this is going to be our guest's first impression of West Edge. This is the lobby. So these are the doors that open up off of 15th Street.
Yep.
Folks are going to come in here, and this is going to be a water feature, I guess, is what
I don't think we're going to disclose what it is yet. It's going to be magical. I can tell you that.
I don't even know when I work here. I know Al's been working on something.
Al's got a Skunk Works project that's going to be pretty amazing when it's all said and done.
Sure,
So
sure.
It's sure to make a big impact when you step into the space.
And as you drive by and see it from the street too, as I understand, was one of the things that Al was trying to plan for was to make it so it's like, oh, cool, what's that?
What's in there? What's in
Yes.
there? Yeah, it'll be really, really neat. But so yeah, you'll come in through these doors, which are the existing doors
Yeah.
that we utilize now. Again, this used to be just a long shotgun, basically a hallway that we worked in. So this wall is new. Conference room table used to be right here.
Yep.
So this is new, and now the space opens this way, which is going to be a really cool open. Vista, first impression for when clients existing and new come in, but hopefully we were able to bring in some of the community partners and really share the vision of what we hope to do.
And
here.
let's not discount the random people who walk in and ask if this is a restaurant.
And honestly, it was only a couple weeks ago, some lady walked in and she was very nice. She's like, what is this place? What do you guys do here? And I'm like, I got that when we were over in the big steel building.
Sure.
But here, you have to walk through construction to get in here.
Yeah, it's a little more
And then
obscure.
you're like, what is this? I'm like, but I was happy to talk to her. I've actually had some conversations with her since. So
There you go.
Yeah, it's what we want. We want people to be able to come in and feel welcome and share the space and learn more about what we do and how we can, share all this vision with the community. I'm
And I
looking
think
forward-
eventually we're going to
looking forward
have,
to it.
there's plans for a small reception desk.
Yep.
So that we can, people have someplace to stop and drop the mail or any of the dozens, nay, hundreds of packages that Ben and I get from B&H.
Hopefully
in a year,
no
so.
more truckloads of deliveries that require pallet jacks, though.
Okay,
I
right.
think we're close to the end of all of that.
Yeah.
which
And
is
speaking
exciting.
close to the end,
Oh, yeah.
maybe we should go over here and talk about all this stuff.
Straight across. Sounds good. And now, my favorite part of any good tour, the break room, which is super exciting. This is going to be a really special space.
So tell me about this surface.
Yeah, so what we're looking at right now, this top of the break room counter is actually what was removed from the flooring where the conversation pit is, just up that way. So yeah, this flooring is 100 years old. It's beautiful. It's got tons and tons and tons of character. So
It's
it'll be
amazing.
It's
and
gonna be
in such good shape too.
It is. And then the stuff that you see on the front.
Yeah, this is
that's-
the same thing, just flipped upside down.
Yeah, it's
correct?
the rough sawn subfloor that actually this tongue and groove was laid on top of.
Yeah.
So to be able to bring that out, I mean, this stuff hasn't seen the light of day in 100 years, and now it's outward facing. We've got all this excellent light in here. We're shooting right now just afternoon, but early morning light from the east over here coming through these windows. This is going to be awesome, and we're going to have really good coffee facilities and all the good stuff that you need to be able to, talk about good ideas and get the creative juices flowing.
I imagine we're going to be doing stand-ups in here because there's also going to be one of the TVs on that wall, as well as one of the Google Meet
the
thingies.
Google Meets will be here. Yeah, and so being able to utilize this space not only for work. This is actually, I was testing it the other day, almost perfect standing desk height. But being able to work out of this, but also bring the whole team together in this space to be able to work and have client conversations and things, and it's going to be really, really great for community. And I kind of talked about it before, but bringing people into this space is really the whole purpose of having something so accessible. I'm stoked.
And I know Chad's talked in the past about having a place that isn't creatively inspiring and really just kind of feeds the juices of the creative folks who are making the things. Building a cool space like this is a huge part of that, and just having a place that people want to come to work and are proud to be at work and that kind of thing. So it's been a real journey.
Oh yeah, and place is one of the most important things to us, and we've had some awesome spaces up till now, but I have to say I'm more excited about moving into this one than I was any of the other ones we've done. So yeah, I can't wait. Hopefully it gets here soon. But it's been a fun process all along too. So
Yeah, it definitely has been. Well, all right, well, that's our tour of the new space under construction. We're going to do an episode, I imagine, with the finished product so we can show it off and everybody can see everything we did. So 8 weeks-ish
Yeah, 8 weeks
from
sounds
the
good.
time we're filming this. So by the time this goes out, probably only a few more weeks by the time this hits the internet. So with that, the construction guys are coming back to work,
Yes,
so we'll
good.
close it out and we'll see you on the next one.
thanks.